What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're checking out the man Anthony Fantano Hit Me Hard and Soft album review. I can't lie, ever since I finished Hit Me Hard and Soft by Billie Eilish, my life has changed. It is wow. Like, I'm telling you, after I listened to it on camera, I legit just sat here for like 30 seconds, like 30 minutes, just like this, deep in what I just heard. Genuinely, probably my favorite project this year, and for the Grammys, I will be rooting for this to win Album of the Year. Crazy album. So we're gonna hear what Anthony had to say about it. The man, I'm very inspired by him. Some of his opinions are crazy. Why is he positioned like this right now? Anyway, I'm talking too much, so let's just play the video. If you guys are here, please like, subscribe, comment on, but anything goes to check out. We're gonna jump right in.
Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of this new Billie Eilish album, Hit Me Hard and Soft. This is the newest LP from pop singer and songwriter Miss Billie Eilish, her third in fact, and of course her brother co-songwriter and producer Phineas is on deck too. Which I love because I feel like these two truly are a dynamic duo with the way they crafted this specific brand of moody, snappy alt pop on her breakout debut. Something they could have easily
I haven't listened to that yet, so if you want me to listen to that, go ahead and let me know. Don't rush me. I already listened to Happier Than Ever. It's just not out yet. Like, dang, y'all want me to drop 10 album reactions in one day? No, bro. The Happier Than Ever reaction drops. This is dropping on... I'm recording this when this comes out. What is today? This is recorded on January 2nd. This will come out January 2nd. Okay? So let's calm down.
Doubled down on for another record, but it actually took a few years for us to get Billie's formal follow-up Happier Than Ever. And when it did, in my opinion, it was a minor sophomore slump. There were some great tunes and creative and versatile highlights across this record, but the track list was a little bloated. It was not nearly as focused as its predecessor. Hit Me Hard and Soft, though, is a bit of a different beast. I can already see this record being framed as Billie Eilish's most mature album yet. And this thing is probably her most focused record so far, with just a very tight, very straightforward 10-track list.
10 tracks and it was like 40 something minutes. It was insane. Beautiful album.
The lyrical themes are there too, as most of the songs here tend to focus on lust, desire, attraction, relationships falling apart. However, I didn't find this album to be nearly as fun as Billie's two preceding projects, and that's not commentary on the mood of the record per se. It just feels like a lot of the instrumentation and writing on this LP is a lot safer, taking less risks and leaning more into very established modes and aesthetics within pop music and rock music. And while novelty isn't everything, delivering tracks and instrumentals that come across as a little played out isn't exactly flattering either. However, when the rubber hits the road, I feel like the true selling point of this LP, it's going to be the songs, which in terms of substance and memorability really range. The opening track, for example, has some decent vocal lines to it, some dreamy washed out production. Lyrically, we see Billie getting super meta about fame and body image, something she's no stranger to in concept, as her last LP saw her dabbling in those topics too. But I think this track is far from her most poignant attempt at diving into feelings around this, not to mention the outro is kind of unceremonious. However, from here we go into a pretty hard contrast on the song Lunch, which is a munch anthem. I could eat that girl for lunch. Yeah, she dances on my tongue. It tastes like
Hold on, this nigga just call it a munch anthem? Okay.
She might be the one. We have some straightforward pop rock on this track, and I would say it works. The tune and Billie's flirty, kind of tongue-in-cheek vocal delivery really sell it. I just wish the production had more to offer other than these very dry drums and chords that kind of hit on the upbeat. But then from here...
I'm not gonna lie to you, it sounds like he's shitting on it right now.
We literally go multiple rounds with breakup ballad after breakup ballad, which is kind of where the record hits its stride, lyrically anyway. The song Chihiro reads like some dreamy, broken-hearted dance floor surrealism, especially with that diner interaction described in the lyrics. But yeah, the track also features some groove and bass lines and sparkling synthesizers that are oddly reminiscent of Daft Punk, but simultaneously it's kind of too sleepy and subtle to play on a dance floor. In its best moments, it's pretty, it's entrancing, but is it really beckoning for me to come back to it anytime soon? Not intensely. Things lighten up a little bit on the track Birds of a Feather, which
Birds
is
of
a cute
feather, we should stick together and us. I love it. My bad. I'm
that
muddy.
has a nice 80s
Shit, I might have to keep him muddy. He's pissing me off right now. He's shitting on it.
most of the track. Toward the end, there's what sounds like a theremin in the mix. This track is like if you took Wham and crossed it with some Gwen Stefani doing dream pop, then Wildflower and the Greatest are kind of like a 1-2 punch of acoustic cuts with super dramatic, passionate highs, the intensity of which kind of plays into the narratives of these songs. There's the do I, don't I love triangle tension going on in the story of the former, and then the latter of the two tracks is like being left on red, emotionally speaking, where Billie describes herself putting way too much into this romantic dynamic that she's actually getting out. Just wanted passion from you, just wanted what I gave you, I waited and waited. But attitude-wise, Billie changes her tune big time on L'amour de ma vie, which is a cute, lighthearted breakup cut set to some quaint chords. She's parting ways with this person, wishing them the best, but simultaneously admitting to having told a lie, meaning that she didn't really love this person in the first place. But yeah, once again, we're kind of getting a chill.
Get your bag, man. I'm still gonna skip it, but get your bag.
90s pop rock pastiche thing going on. Think the Cardigans. That's really the vibe we're going with here in the first half. But then things around the midpoint of the song suddenly launch into this driving set of rhythms and trancey synths thrown on top of that. And then Billie vocally starts riffing with like this Charlie XCX level of autotune on her voice.
Bro, I said that same thing. I just said this reminds me of Charlie XCX.
And the lyrics stay consistent with the overall themes of the record so far, but they get really bitter in tone, literally referring to this person that she's singing about as mediocre. And while, yeah, these two respective sounds, especially the switch up in the second half, it's not exactly novel, but it's all pulled off very well, and it's interesting and odd to see them kind of clashing together on one track. So yeah, again, around the midpoint is really where this record picks up and maintains a lot of its momentum, but sadly things start to trail off in the final leg. The Diner, in my opinion, has the worst instrumental of the bunch. Kind of like this kooky, spooky kids cartoon show thing.
I won't slander this take too much. I can understand this one, and I actually agree with this one. He said worst instrumental. I think it is the worst song on the album.
Kind of feels like watered down Gorillaz or like the theme song to a Scooby-Doo reboot, instrumentally and texturally.
Bro, I'll be mad as shit, bro. Imagine I put my blood, sweat, and tears into an album, and then this nigga Andrew Fantano gonna come in here talking about reminds me of a Scooby-Doo reboot. I'll be like, nigga, what? I muttered it again.
Kind of feels like watered down Gorillaz or like the theme song to a Scooby-Doo reboot, instrumentally and texturally. It just feels kind of bland. I don't know. Bro. I mean, it's confusing because I feel like this is the exact kind of vibe that Phineas and Billie on the debut record were totally nailing and killing, and now this newest iteration of it, because again, it does feel like it calls back to that first record a little bit, just kind of feels toothless and neutered. It's not as palpably eerie as that older stuff was, even though it's kind of like existing in a similar realm. The song mix-wise is also washed out to hell. You can barely make out a lot of what Billie is singing and saying much of the time. I think Bittersweet has similar shortcomings too. The vocals are laid out with so many effects, they kind of lose impact. I think the multiple phases of the song structure on this one don't exactly work together all that well too. You have this epic synth intro that feels like it could have...
He's finna give this shit like a forward, bro. I'm scared now. He's gonna get this like a forward.
Landed on a graduation era Kanye cut. Then from there, we're kind of shifting into some vaguely exotic moonlit tropical pop that really feels like it's missing something, and the track doesn't seem to fully know how it should end, which is why once again we just shift into a random epic synth outro. The solo on top of which is very, very stiff, lacks finesse. Then the closing track, Blue, I think is the best of the bunch when it comes to this final leg. The melodies and chord progression aren't
like
exactly inspired to my ears, but I like that lyrically a lot of themes and ideas.
Bro, he said it was his favorite, and he's still shitting on it. Oh my god.
And tropes that have been given nods throughout the record kind of get rounded up a little bit here. They come back into a track that reads kind of like a character portrait of at least one of the individuals central to a lot of the heartbreak on the record. Billy even goes the extra mile to describe a lot of the personal characteristics of this individual, being famous very young in their life, having mommy and daddy issues. It's a pretty unflattering portrait. However, I feel like rather than just personal details, I would have just preferred across the record a bit more poeticism, because truth be told, while Billy is definitely diving into some very personal experiences across this LP, many of the descriptions and words chosen to reflect on the feelings during these moments are pretty on the nose. Overall, though, in terms of songwriting and production, I think this record is pretty good, and I think for me, all things considered, it's about on the same level as her last album, but for different reasons. The songs and lyrical ideas and themes throughout the record, the track list too, it's a lot more focused. The record knows exactly what it wants to be, but simultaneously, there aren't nearly as many fun, interesting, creative, or unique sonic or narrative risks being taken across this record when compared to her last two albums. And that creative flair, that sort of spark that set Billy creatively apart from all of her competitors in the pop sphere in the modern age, is a big part of why I was kind of drawn to her music in the first place. And sadly, I feel like that element of her music on this record has waned a little bit, even if Billy's and Phineas's songwriting abilities over the past several years have really matured and strengthened in some ways, which is why I'm feeling a light to decent 7.
Okay. The way he was talking about it, I was expecting like a 4, my nigga. He was shitting on the whole album. All right, after we always gotta check the description because he always gets his favorite and favorite tracks: Lunch, Birds of a Feather, Wildflower, The Greatest, L'amour de ma vie. Least favorite track, The Diner. That lines up with pretty much what I think. I would take out Lunch though. My favorite tracks would definitely be Birds of a Feather, Wildflower, The Greatest, L'amour de ma vie. And there was one more. I think Blue. Blue. Least favorite track would also be Diner. Wow, was anyone disappointed this review wasn't done underwater? I feel like the true selling point of this LP is gonna be the songs. It's funny that 5 years ago, Fantano gave Billy a yellow flannel, and it annoyed his fan base. And now Fantano doesn't give Billy album a yellow flannel, and it annoys his fan base. For me, it's a strong 8 to a light 9. No skips and easily her most confident work. Blue and Chihiro deserve better. Hey, let me know what y'all thought. I think a light 7 is crazy. I'm thinking. I kind of agree with this dude, but I wouldn't go strong 8. I would go light to a decent 9. Thoroughly enjoyed this album. I'm not over it yet. I need more time to digest it, maybe. But let me know what you guys think. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, subscribe, comment down below, and go something to check out. This is Jackson. I love y'all. I'm out. Peace.